you really have a story about a Sasquatch?
I do.
I thought you were going to sing it and play it, but that was beautiful.
There's no way I could sing and play this, tell this story. No. It's a very long story, by the way.
I'm in.
I'll just give you a very small summary of a very long story. He said that we are from a family tree that most of us don't even know exists anymore. I ate a bunch of mushrooms one time, and this Sasquatch showed up wearing this white suit. He had a white linen suit on. And you can take this for what it is. I'm telling you what happened. I felt sober all of a sudden, and then all of a sudden, sitting next to me was this giant being who looked just basically like a man, except he had hair all over his body and he was 15 feet tall. And he told me that we come from a bloodline that used to be much larger, much more aware of the world, and we knew how to help plants grow just like with our will. Like, he was explaining to me that we used to be like the gardeners of Earth, and then something happened a long time ago to change us into like an ignorant race. Like, we did not always used to be what we are now. And he was explaining to me how the Sasquatch we call Sasquatch or Yeti or Bigfoot really live here on Earth, and they're a primer bloodline, a bloodline that was like more ancient than the humans we know today. And they've been here for as long as we've been here, and they still live like very much in harmony with planet Earth. And we live on the waste plane, is what he told me. Like, we waste our time, we waste our resources, we waste our love. And he said on their plane there's no waste. They don't eat more than what they need to stay alive. They just literally don't waste. There's no such thing as waste. The idea of waste doesn't exist in their world. And it's a trip. That's the only thing that separates us from them, is the idea of waste. He said the only time that you will see a Bigfoot, what we call Bigfoot, on this plane, in this dimension, is when they fall down to this dimension to literally get rid of the only waste they'll ever produce. Some of them get inspired to eat more than they should because of us here, and they literally make a bowel movement, the only crap they'll ever take in their life. They don't defecate on that plane because that's waste. So the ones we see here, he told me that we only see them because they have dropped down a dimension in order to take a shit. He said the only ones that we see here are going crap, and it's maybe the only crap they'll ever take in their life, and there's very few of them that ever even experience it.
You know what's fucked up? I made that picture with AI last week.
What?
A Sasquatch taking a big fucking dump.
He said, I swear to God.
Dump with AI.
I can't tell you. Who the fuck would make this up? The only reason we ever see them on this plane, he said, and it's according to what this being told me, was that we are down here on the waste plane, and that what they call them dark seeds or dark stars. He said there used to be only one a generation, now there are many. He said that one would show up and they would start to eat more than they should, and over the course of a few months a bowel movement would snake its way down his chakra system, and when it hit the root chakra, the being would fall down a dimension to the waste plane, to the next plateau of dimensional reality, like a observable, plateau. And then all his clothes, his brothers, sisters, everybody he ever knew, his house, everything they'd ever built was gone, and he was just here. The consciousness pulls more of them down here more often, so that there are many a generation who experience it now, and that was not the way it used to be. He said it used to be one, and that he almost always was a male who would be the dark star. He would go and he would fall away like the prodigal son, and when they got back, he was the one that would experience ostracization, waste, all that feeling of being isolated from the culture, from society, that would only be experienced by one person a generation. He would bring it back and help, and they would telecommunicatively share what he experienced, and that's how they would experience isolation. Negative emotions were only experienced by one person a whole generation, and he sacrificed himself in that day to go down and have those emotions and bring them back. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they said that before we all populated this plane, that's the way it used to work. That once a generation, a dark star would fall and be here alone for a day or two, and then just to take a shit. He said, so now when we see them here, caught between planes, it's because they're here to get rid of a waste, a bowel movement, that most of them, he said they live thousands of years and don't ever take a dump. Literally don't ever shit. They don't waste anything. So, you're not wasting, I guess you don't have to defecate. I don't know. That's what he said. Now, did my brain just make all that up on mushrooms, or like?
Have you ever heard of the interdimensional?
Well, I mean, if it's not real, if it's not a person talking to me, how did I just create all of that information out of nothing?
Have you guys ever heard of the interdimensional ecologist theory to Sasquatch, to the Bigfoot?
Yeah.
It's a theory that like something like Gigantopithecus lived and we died off instead in the multiverse, and that instead of developing combustion technology, it developed a spiritual inward technology that gave it the capacity to nurture its version of Earth and then expand to other versions of Earth and become the gardener of the multiverse of Earths.
I watched
So they pass between portals and step through and spiritually attune, and even worlds like ours that are being destroyed, they keep it in line and then they step through. And that's why you never catch them on trail cams, but you see footprints and then it's just gone.
You can't.
It's a theory. But it's a theory. So that's cool. Yours lines up with that.
Oh, I mean,
there's like about 30,000 Bigfoot.
if you could just make all that up, well then, I don't know. I should write all that down, honestly.
You won't have to now. It's on the YouTube.
It's gonna be on YouTube.
Yeah, you won't have to. It's on the YouTube.
Well, at some point, yeah, we should turn this into like a children's book or a series of stories like Tolkien or something.
Bro, I'll just turn it into that AI video thing I showed them. It'd be so easy. I'll show you how to do it. You want to play with AI? It's so easy. I'll give you all the shit that I spent like months trying to figure out.
Nice.
I'll just give it to you and you just play with it. You only probably won't know what it's doing, but you can play with that shit for free. Create a whole script. Choose an AI voice that's a narrator, like David Attenborough, and then choose the art. Dude, I've already got it here. I'm gonna stop now. I literally have done an AI picture of a Sasquatch taking a shit. I'm gonna post it right now. I made that last week.
We didn't plan this.
Synchronicities. I was telling you. I made a picture of a Sasquatch taking a shit.
And you were talking about something with the fun guys too, in the same consciousness.
Yeah.
I was talking about how I feel like the AI's doing weird stuff with manifestation.
He told me, that's just a little bit of what he told me. He told me other shit too.
You want to talk about it?
We could make
Whole
a
content.
series of videos about all the information he shared with me.
All right, I'm down.
Because he referenced what he called he said this, and I didn't know what he was talking about at the time until it came further and further downloads. I started having dreams about what we call the dragon family.
Yeah.
And that's the real long story.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk more later. What's your name again?
Matthew.
Matthew, nice to meet you, Matthew. That was fun.
Yep.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
I might even take the music and play it real light, and then I'll put that over top of you playing. So it'll be your story and the music together, like
Nice.
you would struggle doing.
Killer, man.
And I'll make sure you get it.
God, that's awesome.
All right, so nice to meet you.